Open book, welcome, curious minds and midnight dreamers. You're about to enter a world where stories come alive and every word holds a secret. So grab a cozy seat, maybe a cup of tea, and let me take you on a journey you won't forget. This is story time like you've never heard before. Crescent Moon. In a world where shadows dance and secrets linger, I am Ava, a 22-year-old navigating the labyrinth of life. Curiosity may be stirring within you about how a girl like me, at this age, finds herself under the roof of her uncle. But brace yourself, for the tale I'm about to unfold is anything but ordinary. Truthfully, I never envisioned that this would unfold either. In the vibrant world of graphic design, I immerse myself in a whirlwind of creativity, where each stroke of my pencil brings ideas to life. My days are consumed by the exhilarating dance of drawing, crafting designs, and navigating the thrilling challenges of freelance work. Ever since my parents' divorce shattered my childhood, life has become an unrelenting challenge. I wandered endlessly, searching for a sense of stability that always seemed just out of reach. In the end, I found myself under the roof of my Uncle Nathan. It had never been intended this way. Join me on this journey by subscribing to my channel, and together we can uncover even more captivating true stories that await us. Be sure to watch this video all the way to the end and give it a thumbs up, for the tale that unfolds is bound to captivate you in ways you never imagined. We invite you to click the like button and stand with us on this journey. It all began when my mother was called away for work, leaving me in search of a place to stay as I navigated the final stretch of college. Nathan, my uncle, stood as the sole beacon of hope in my family, the only one who could offer the help I desperately needed. For several years, he has shared his life with his wife Victoria. In the heart of the countryside, they reside in a stunning house, a serene sanctuary far removed from the chaos of the city. I believed it would merely be a fleeting escape to a serene haven. Yet the unfolding events shattered my expectations. Months slipped by, and I believed I had settled into the house, embraced the routine, and found solace in the tranquility. At least, that's what I thought. But today an extraordinary event unfolded, one that compels me to share my tale. It all began the moment I stepped into Nathan's room, the air thick with silence as he lay there, lost in dreams. Before I dive into the details, make sure you subscribe to the channel to keep up with the unfolding tale that awaits you. Allow me to draw you into the world of Nathan. He stands apart from the rest of the uncles. In my eyes, he has always stood as a guiding figure, a mentor whose wisdom transcends the bonds of mere family. As I navigated the winding roads of childhood, he was my steadfast guide, teaching me the exhilarating freedom of riding a bike, the art of mending what was broken, and the thrill of independence when he handed me the keys to my first car on my 18th birthday. When my mother found herself in desperate need of someone to take me in, Nathan emerged as the only choice that made sense. He possesses a depth of thoughtfulness, an unwavering patience, and a kindness that radiates warmth. But it wasn't merely him I was about to share my life with. Victoria had woven herself into the fabric of his life, her presence a constant thread in the tapestry of his days. 2 years have passed since their wedding, and in the beginning, uncertainty clouded my thoughts about her. She was older than Nathan, and there was an undeniable aura about her that cast me as an outsider in their home. At first, I took refuge in the guest room tucked away at the far end of the house, making every effort to remain unseen, a silent observer in a world that felt foreign. As the days passed, the tension began to fade and Victoria stepped into the role of a mentor, sharing her wisdom on cooking, cleaning, and the intricacies of managing a home. We were far from being best friends, yet the tension had dissipated, leaving an unsettling calm in its wake. I believed the tide was finally turning in my favor. Yet, of late, an inexplicable phenomenon has captured my attention. As the moments unfolded with Nathan, an undeniable pull began to weave itself around my heart. His smiles ignited a spark within me, the fleeting brush of his hand sent shivers down my spine, and the intensity of his gaze, when he believed I was lost in my thoughts, left me breathless. A strange sensation washed over me, something unmistakably different. The pull was undeniable. A palpable tension began to weave itself between us, thickening the air with unspoken words and electric anticipation. A force that ensnared every soul, leaving no chance for escape. I can sense your thoughts swirling in the air. Ava stood at the edge of the world, her heart pounding with anticipation. The wind whispered secrets through the trees, beckoning her to take the first step into the unknown. Shadows danced around her, hinting at adventures yet to unfold. This was the moment she had been waiting for, the beginning of a journey that would change everything. What are you saying? He is your uncle, feels utterly insane. I understand. Yet this bond is impossible to ignore. I attempted to dismiss it, but the weight of it lingered in the air, heavy and undeniable. I convinced myself it was all just a figment of my imagination. Yet, whenever we found ourselves in solitude, the air crackled with an unspoken tension. It felt as though an unseen force was drawing us closer, an irresistible magnetism that bound our fates together. Here is where the intrigue begins to unfold. One evening, as the last remnants of dinner lingered in the air, I was engrossed in a project in my room when the unmistakable sound of footsteps echoed through the hallway. Nathan lay in a deep slumber, lost to the world for what felt like an eternity. Victoria was out with friends, leaving us alone in the dim light of the evening. At first I brushed it off, but then the door to his bedroom creaked open, sending a shiver down my spine. I hesitated, caught in a moment of indecision. Should I let him rest or step inside? An inexplicable force drew me closer. With a quiet breath, I opened the door, careful not to disturb him. There he lay on his back, one arm casually tucked behind his head, exuding an aura of tranquility that captivated me. As he lay in slumber, the gentle light streaming through the window painted soft shadows across his face, rendering him almost ethereal, a figure of untouchable beauty. I lingered in that moment, caught in the stillness of time. My heart pounded in my chest. A warm rush crept across my cheeks, my pulse raced. A sensation unlike any I had ever known washed over me. Perhaps all I longed for was the chance to gaze upon him, or perhaps it was something far deeper. I was completely unaware. My thoughts shattered like the vase I had just knocked over near his bed. The sound pierced the silence, causing Nathan to stir from his restless slumber. His eyes snapped open. In that fleeting instant our eyes met, a silent connection igniting between us. His eyes were a swirling tempest of confusion. Yet there was something more lurking beneath the surface. Something elusive, a feeling that danced just beyond my grasp. He blinked rapidly, as if trying to shake off a dream that clung to him like mist, striving to center my thoughts on myself. Then a groggy laugh escaped their lips. Ava stood at the edge of the world, her heart pounding with anticipation. The wind whipped through her hair, carrying whispers of secrets untold. Every breath she took felt electric, charged with the promise of adventure that lay just beyond the horizon. She was ready to step into the unknown, to embrace whatever fate had in store for her. "What brings you to this place?" he inquired, his voice heavy and laced with the remnants of slumber. My heart pounded in my chest, each beat echoing the urgency of the moment as I fought to grasp the elusive words that danced just beyond my reach. I fought the urge to glance over, desperate to avoid the appearance of prying into something that wasn't mine to see. Yet the words eluded me, slipping through my fingers like sand, leaving me in a haze of confusion. My mouth felt parched, as if the very air had stolen all moisture from my lips. Chapter 1. I never intended to disturb your slumber. I stumbled over my words, overwhelmed by a wave of humiliation. Nathan stirred, his body rising from the depths of slumber, each movement deliberate and heavy with the weight of the night. He rubbed his eyes, a weary gesture that hinted at the weight of the world pressing down on him. His smile pierced through the air, a fleeting moment that held a world of unspoken secrets. The very same type. The smile he offered was always patient, a beacon of calm in the storm of life. But today, a flicker of something unrecognizable danced in his eyes, a moment that sent my heart pounding wildly. His gaze lingered on me, a silent assessment, before he finally broke the tension with his words. "Everything will be all right." He spoke softly, his voice wrapping around her like a warm embrace. You know you can always confide in me." Ava stood at the edge of the world, her heart pounding with anticipation. The air crackled with energy, and the horizon stretched endlessly before her, a canvas of possibilities waiting to be explored. Every breath she took was filled with the scent of adventure, urging her to take that first step into the unknown. "In this moment I stand by your side, unwavering and steadfast." I nodded, the weight of the moment settling heavily around us. But my thoughts were a whirlwind. A peculiar sensation washed over me, leaving me utterly bewildered and unsure of how to confront it. The air in the room hung thick, pressing down like an unseen weight. My breath quickened, each inhale a frantic whisper in the silence. All I craved was a moment to share my thoughts. My voice barely escaped my lips, a mere whisper in the stillness. Nathan's smile dimmed ever so slightly. For a fleeting moment, I caught a glimmer of uncertainty in his eyes, but just as quickly, it disappeared into the shadows. He beckoned with a gentle pat on the bed beside him, inviting her into the warmth of the moment. Step closer. In that moment, I'm here for you whenever you need to share your thoughts. He spoke with a warmth that enveloped the room. I lingered in that moment, suspended in time. In a haze of uncertainty, doubt lingered like a shadow, whispering questions that clawed at the edges of clarity. Yet, an undeniable force within me urged me onward. In a moment of pure instinct, I settled beside him, the air thick with unspoken tension. The air crackled with unspoken words, a palpable tension hanging heavily between us. Burdened by an unimaginable weight, the warmth of his body pressed against mine sent a shiver down my spine. The air was thick with the intoxicating scent of his cologne. The air between us crackled with tension, each breath he took resonating in my ears, the rhythm of his chest rising and falling like a drumbeat in the silence that enveloped us. My heart pounded fiercely once more, and with a deliberate slowness. It felt as if time had stretched, each moment unfolding with agonizing clarity. I gazed up at him, my heart racing with anticipation. Our faces hovered inches apart, and I could sense the heat radiating from him. His gaze held a gentle warmth. In a haze of uncertainty, doubt lingered like a shadow, casting a pall over every decision. The path ahead was shrouded in mystery, each step forward fraught with hesitation. What lay beyond the veil of the unknown? The heart raced, caught in the throes of indecision, yearning for clarity amidst the swirling fog of possibilities. Yet beneath the surface, an unspoken truth lingered. A jolt of electricity coursed through me, igniting every nerve ending and sending shivers across my skin. Ava stood at the edge of the world, her heart racing with anticipation. The air crackled with energy, and the horizon stretched out before her like an uncharted territory, beckoning her to step forward into the unknown. "Are you all right?" Nathan inquired softly. Just as I was about to respond, I edged nearer to him, the air thick with anticipation. My heart pounded in my ears and a tightness gripped my throat. Words failed me, yet the air was thick with an overwhelming intensity. The atmosphere crackled with an electric tension. Nathan remained steadfast, refusing to pull away. His gaze locked onto mine, a silent storm brewing beneath the surface. Silence enveloped him, a heavy shroud that spoke volumes without a single word escaping his lips. Yet his breath quickened, each inhale a frantic whisper of urgency, reflecting my own. The air in the room thickened with an unexpected warmth. The silence between us thickened, heavy with the weight of unspoken words, each moment stretching into eternity. My mind spun in a chaotic tempest. The culmination of every choice, every whisper of fate, had brought them to this pivotal instant. I was powerless to resist. With deliberate slowness, I inched closer. My lips quivered, caught in the surreal haze of a dreamlike state. They grazed against his. In the beginning, a veil of uncertainty hung in the air. Uncertain. But then, a sudden shift in the air sent a shiver down her spine. As his lips brushed against mine, whispers of tenderness and warmth. I was powerless to resist. My mind roared with urgency, demanding that I halt in my tracks. Yet my body betrayed me. This was essential for me. This was my desire. Nathan's hand cradled my cheek, a gentle yet electrifying touch that sent shivers down my spine, drawing me in, compelling me to step forward. His other hand lingered just beside us, a silent presence in the charged air, caressing my skin. The warmth of his touch ignited a fire within me. As their lips met, the kiss intensified, enveloping them in a world of passion. In that moment, the boundaries between his lips and mine blurred, merging into an intoxicating dance of desire. All that existed was silence. As the rest of the world faded into oblivion, only the two of us remained, suspended in a world that felt both vast and intimate. Bound by an irresistible bond, my thoughts spiraled into a whirlwind of confusion. A heavy weight settled in the pit of her stomach, a relentless reminder of choices made and paths taken. Shadows of regret loomed large, whispering secrets of what could have been. each thought a dagger piercing her resolve. The air thickened with unspoken words, and the silence screamed louder than any confession. She was trapped in a labyrinth of her own making, where every turn led her deeper into the darkness of her own conscience. Yet, there lingered an uncanny feeling of inevitability. What were we embarking on? What made it feel so utterly essential? Words failed to capture the essence of it. There was no reasoning to be found. He paused, drawing back for a fleeting heartbeat. His forehead pressed gently against mine. A moment suspended in time. Our breaths came in ragged gasps. Every breath trembled, lingering in the air like a whispered secret. His pulse throbbed against my skin, a rhythmic reminder of the life coursing through him. The rhythm of my heart raced in perfect synchrony. Ava stood at the edge of the world, her heart pounding with anticipation. The wind whipped through her hair, carrying whispers of secrets yet to be uncovered. Every moment felt electric, as if the universe itself was holding its breath, waiting for her next move. She was on the brink of something extraordinary, and she could feel it in her bones. His voice whispered like a gentle breeze, wrapping around the words with an intimate caress, burdened by an unseen weight. We mustn't. Yet uncertainty gnawed at me. Without hesitation, I nodded in agreement. A fierce determination surged within me, an unyielding force that dismissed any notion of surrender. Gradually, as I extended my fingers toward his, a surge of anticipation coursed through me. Our fingers wove together, a silent promise binding us in that moment. He remained steadfast, refusing to retreat. His fingers intertwined with mine, a connection that sent shivers down my spine, clinging to each other with an intensity that felt almost electric. In that fleeting moment, our gazes locked, igniting an unspoken connection that hung in the air like a charged whisper. And for what felt like an eternity, silence enveloped us. The burden of unspoken truths loomed heavily in the space that separated us. Shall we dare to take the plunge? Is it possible for us? My hand instinctively found its way to the nape of his neck. Drawing him in, the world around them faded away. Once more, our lips met in a fervent embrace. This moment, not a moment of doubt, lingered. Fear was a distant memory. The insatiable urge to remain by his side consumed her every thought, to sense his essence lingering in the air. Nathan's fingers traced a slow, tantalizing path down my spine, pulling me in inch by inch. The touch of our bodies ignited a fire within, making every moment pulse with an electrifying intensity. Uncertainty loomed over me, a shadowy figure in the distance, as I stood at the crossroads of fate, unsure of the path that lay ahead. Yet indifference washed over me. I longed to linger in this fleeting moment, where it felt as if the world had faded away, leaving just the two of us in our own universe. My heart raced wildly as his lips brushed against my neck. Delicate kisses brushed against my skin, igniting a fire within. His breath brushed against my ear, sending shivers down my spine. A chill raced down my spine, a sensation unlike any I had ever experienced coursed through me. Close and personal, devouring, and profoundly unsettling, yet exhilarating in a manner I couldn't quite articulate. Are you absolutely certain about this? His breath brushed against my skin, a whisper that sent shivers down my spine. His voice dripped with longing. I have no desire to bring you pain. As I shut my eyes, the world around me faded into darkness. In the depths of silence, I embark on a quest to uncover my true voice. Every fiber of my being cried out for me to halt, to break free. Yet I found myself unable to do so. The yearning surged within, an insatiable force that could not be ignored. The need was too powerful. Thoughts swirled in my mind like a tempest, and I longed for the sweet relief of silence. There was an unspoken reluctance to challenge the status quo. All I longed for was to be by his side. I have no doubt. My voice barely escaped my lips, a mere breath in the silence. My fingers glided over his chest, tracing the contours of his body with a tantalizing slowness. As my fingertips brushed against his skin, a wave of warmth surged through me, igniting a spark of connection that sent shivers down my spine. I crave this. Nathan stood at the edge of the precipice, the wind whipping around him, carrying whispers of secrets untold. His heart raced, each beat echoing the weight of the moment. What lay ahead was shrouded in mystery, a path fraught with danger and discovery. He took a deep breath, steeling himself for the journey that awaited him, knowing that every choice could alter the course of his fate forever. My desire for you is undeniable. Once more his lips sought out mine, igniting a spark that sent shivers down my spine. And this time the kiss plunged into uncharted depths. Time is running out. The path ahead was irrevocably set, with no chance of retreat. Nothing beyond these four walls held any significance. It was the intensity of his presence that consumed me, igniting a whirlwind of emotions within. Yearned for. Essential. And I felt a surge of life coursing through me, unlike anything I had ever known. The walls of the room felt as though they were inching closer, suffocating us in their embrace. The light faded, shadows creeping in as the depth of our bond intensified. Each caress, each kiss ignited a spark, whispering of untold possibilities that lingered in the air. It was a mystery that eluded our grasp, a shadow lurking just beyond our comprehension. Yet we stand on the brink of adventure, eager to uncover the unknown. His heartbeat thudded steadily against mine, a rhythmic echo that intertwined our fates, aligning with the pulse of my essence. Yet, a fragment of my being continued to resist the harsh truth of the unfolding events. A vast portion of my being yielded entirely. It had transcended the simple act of kissing. It transcended mere existence. A bond formed in the shadows, inexplicable yet undeniable. A connection that transcended the limits of language. The longing has consumed me for what feels like an eternity. Nathan's voice barely broke the silence, a hushed whisper that seemed to hang in the air like a fragile secret. His breath lingered warm and tantalizing against my lips. His words barely registered in my mind as my hands explored every inch of him. He could sense the powerful muscles rippling just beneath the surface of his skin. The intensity of his presence. His response sent a shiver down my spine. Yet, the path ahead was irrevocably set. The magnetic force between us intensified, an invisible thread weaving our fates together, drawing us ever closer in a dance of undeniable attraction, in a manner that took us both by surprise. In that moment, the world around us faded away, and we became enveloped in a timeless embrace, utterly consumed by one another. Amidst the hushed cadence of our kisses, the heat of our fingertips ignited a spark between us. And for the first time, everything aligned perfectly. In the hushed silence of the room, the boundaries of our relationship began to blur, transforming us from mere uncle and niece into something far more profound. We were two souls intertwined by an unbreakable connection, a force more powerful than anything I had ever experienced. The air between Nathan and me crackled with an electric tension, each moment stretching into eternity. Neither of us dared to move. Silence enveloped us, a heavy shroud that thickened the air. A sudden creak echoed through the stillness as the front door swung open downstairs. Time stood still. My heart pounded in my chest. In an instant I recoiled from Nathan, my heart racing. A surge of panic coursed through my chest. What had we just unleashed? What was unfolding between us? A tide of guilt surged through me, pulling me under its weight. Yet it was intertwined with an elusive essence, a longing that consumed me. I found myself ensnared, caught in the delicate web of the moment we had just experienced, while the harsh truth loomed over us, binding us in an intricate dance of fate. We found ourselves trapped in a web of choices, each one tightening its grip, making it impossible to turn back. Nathan remained frozen in place, his body tense and unyielding. His gaze was fixed on me, an unyielding connection that sent shivers down my spine. Yet, his expression remained a mystery, shrouded in shadows. The air crackled with an undeniable heat, a tension that pulsed between us, electrifying every moment. The palpable tension hung in the air, a closeness that refused to fade away. Eva stood at the edge of the world, her heart racing with anticipation. The air crackled with energy, and the shadows whispered secrets only she could hear. Every moment felt charged, as if the universe itself was holding its breath, waiting for her next move. In that instant, she knew her life was about to change forever. His voice barely broke the silence, a soft whisper that seemed to hang in the air like a fragile thread. His voice trembled with tension. Just as he opened his mouth to speak again, the echo of footsteps reverberated ominously as they ascended the stairs. Nathan's ears pricked at the sound of a voice that sent a jolt through him, one that I instantly recognized. A heavy weight settled in my chest. It was Victoria, the name that echoed through the shadows of the past, stirring memories long buried and emotions that threatened to resurface. With a surge of adrenaline, I leaped off the bed. My breath came in quick, shallow gasps. Uncertainty gripped me, leaving me paralyzed in the moment. Thoughts surged through my mind like a tempest, each one vying for attention, pulling me into a whirlwind of chaos. Yet, no escape plan materialized in my mind. Could I truly confront her after everything that had just unfolded? The door to Nathan's room groaned as it slowly swung open, revealing the shadows within. And there she stood, a figure cloaked in mystery. Victoria stood at the edge of the world, her heart racing with anticipation. The winds whispered secrets of the past, and the horizon beckoned with promises of adventure. Each step she took was a dance with destiny, drawing her deeper into the unknown. Shadows loomed and the air crackled with tension, as if the very universe held its breath, waiting for her next move. In that moment, she was not just a name. She was a force, ready to carve her path through the tapestry of fate. Framed by the threshold, a figure lingered, casting a long shadow into the dimly lit room. Her face was a canvas of astonishment. Her gaze darted back and forth between Nathan and me, a silent tension crackling in the air. Her features twisted in confusion as she absorbed the unfolding scene. "Eva? Nathan? What is happening in this place?" she inquired, her voice laced with curiosity. Her voice trembled with uncertainty, yet beneath the surface something else lingered. A whisper of instinct. Perhaps that whispered to her that something was amiss. A cold wave washed over me, stealing the color from my cheeks. Victoria's presence hit like a splash of icy water, jolting everyone awake. In that fleeting instant, a sense of unease hung in the air, as if the world itself had shifted into a dissonant tune. Words failed to capture the enormity of the situation. There was no way to rationalize the chaos that had just unfolded between Nathan and me. My throat constricted, a heavy weight pressing down as I fought to summon the words that eluded me. Chapter 1. I stumbled over my words. Lost in a sea of uncertainty, words eluded me. Nathan stood at the edge of the world, the weight of his name echoing in the silence around him. Now perched on the edge of the bed, a sense of anticipation hung in the air. Peered equally adrift, his hand glided over the nape of his neck, a gesture steeped in tension. Overwhelmed by a deep sense of shame, words elude me, slipping through my fingers like sand. How do I capture the essence of this feeling? Victoria's eyes flickered from him to me, a silent tension hanging in the air. In that moment, an unspoken understanding hung in the air, thick and palpable, binding us together in a way words could never capture. Felt as though, in that fleeting instant, everything changed in an instant. Victoria felt a shiver run down her spine. An unsettling awareness gnawed at her, whispering that something had transpired, something that was never meant to happen. Yet her response took me completely by surprise. Rather than feeling anger or disappointment, there was only a profound silence. A haunting sorrow lingered in her gaze. As she crossed the threshold into the room, a palpable tension filled the air. She shut the door with a decisive click, sealing off the world outside. She exuded an undeniable authority, and the room descended into an unsettling silence. A heavy silence hung in the air, thick and palpable. It was a stillness that hung in the air, heavy and expectant, as if the world held its breath, waiting for the tempest to break loose. Ava stood at the edge of the world, her heart racing as the wind whipped through her hair. The horizon stretched endlessly before her, a canvas of possibilities waiting to be explored. With each breath, she felt the weight of her destiny calling, urging her to take that first step into the unknown. "There's something you must grasp," Victoria spoke softly, her voice a soothing balm in the tense atmosphere. Her voice was a whisper, more delicate than I had ever imagined. "What lies beneath the surface is far deeper than you can imagine, more than either of you can fathom." My gaze locked onto her. My mind was engulfed in a storm of confusion. What could she possibly mean? What else remained to uncover? The silence hung heavy in the air, a palpable presence that remained long after Victoria had departed. Her words lingered, suspended in the charged atmosphere. It etched a lasting impression on our souls. Amidst the swirling chaos, her serene wisdom and the promise of support bestowed upon me a gift I never anticipated. Hope flickered like a distant star, a beacon in the vast darkness, urging the weary to press on, to believe in the possibility of dawn. Victoria felt a calmness wash over her. She held on to us, refusing to let go. Rather, she offered us a glimmer of hope, a fleeting opportunity delicate and shrouded in doubt. Yet it lingered in the shadows. I cast a fleeting look at Nathan. His face was a canvas of guilt and confusion, layered with an enigmatic emotion that eluded my understanding. He averted his eyes, as if the weight of my stare was too much to bear. His hands twisted and rubbed together, a storm of anxiety brewing within him. He bore the heavy burden of the past, a palpable tension hanging in the air between us. Our worlds collided in a way that was utterly unforeseen. Yet the deeper I delved into my thoughts, as the truth dawned on me, a chilling realization settled in. None of this was part of anyone's design. Events spiraled into chaos, slipping through our fingers like sand. One thing was undeniable: we could not turn a blind eye to it. The air was thick with unspoken truths, and we could no longer mask the reality that loomed over us. Victoria had been spot on about that. The swirling emotions and the haze of uncertainty. Every detail demanded attention. It was a confrontation that could not be avoided, a challenge that demanded to be met with unwavering resolve. Nathan stood at the edge of the world, the weight of his name echoing in the silence around him. My voice barely escaped my lips, a mere breath in the silence. My voice quivered ever so slightly. What shall we do next? Nathan's gaze pierced through the air, locking onto mine with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. His eyes brimmed with a tumult of emotions. Uncertainty loomed like a shadow wrapping around me, leaving me adrift in a sea of questions. I was lost, searching for answers that danced just out of reach. Ava stood at the edge of the world, her heart pounding with anticipation. The air crackled with energy, and the horizon stretched endlessly before her, a canvas of possibilities waiting to be explored. Each breath she took was a reminder of the adventure that lay ahead, a whisper of destiny calling her name. Confusion swirled within me, an unsettling storm of emotions battling for dominance. What should one ponder? Confusion swirled within me, leaving me uncertain if anger was the right response, overwhelmed by a deep sense of shame, or if I'm permitted to experience any emotions whatsoever. His voice trembled, breaking the silence like glass shattering in the stillness. His words laid bare the tumult within, a raw and unfiltered glimpse into the chaos of his mind. He found himself caught in a tempest of emotions, wrestling with the profound bond we had forged while grappling with his unwavering loyalty to Victoria, his beloved wife. The tension hung thick in the air, a puzzle that couldn't be unraveled in a single exchange. The truth was far more complicated than it appeared. With a steadying breath, I stepped forward, closing the distance between us, bridging the gap that separated us. I felt a deep urge to reach out to him, to offer solace in his time of need. Yet, uncertainty gnawed at me, casting shadows over my decision. Uncertainty clouded my mind, leaving me adrift in a sea of confusion. It seems that unraveling all the mysteries before us is beyond our grasp at this moment. I whispered gently, "We must have a conversation. Let us lay bare the truth between us. This complexity cannot be overlooked." Nathan's head dipped in a slow, deliberate nod, as if weighing the gravity of the moment. His expression was grave, a storm brewing behind his eyes, yet there was no anger. "Indeed, I understand. I simply..." Uncertainty loomed over me, a heavy fog that clouded my thoughts. The beginning felt elusive, like a whisper lost in the wind. As I reached out, my fingers intertwined with his, a spark ignited between us, pulling us into a moment that felt suspended in time. Their fingers brushed together, a connection that was both soothing and electric, laden with feelings that hung in the air, unvoiced yet palpable. We begin by confronting the truth of what transpired. The depths of our emotions surged within us. The echoes of our emotions linger on, and then we unravel the mystery of what lies ahead. He nodded once more, a silent agreement hanging in the air. His expression began to soften, a subtle shift that hinted at something deeper beneath the surface. The path ahead is fraught with challenges. Ava stood at the edge of the world, her heart racing with anticipation. The winds whispered secrets, and the horizon beckoned with promises of adventure. Every moment felt charged with possibility, as if the universe itself was holding its breath, waiting for her next move. Yet, a burning desire to comprehend ignited within me. I yearned to unravel the tangled web of emotions that binds us together. I tightened my grip on his hand. The touch was both a balm and a tempest of unvoiced feelings. Answers elude me, slipping through my fingers like sand. Nathan stood at the edge of the world, the weight of the unknown pressing down on him like a storm cloud ready to burst. Every heartbeat echoed in the silence, a reminder of the journey that lay ahead. He took a deep breath, steeling himself for the adventure that awaited, where every choice could lead to glory or despair. The air crackled with anticipation, and Nathan knew that this was just the beginning of something extraordinary. The uncertainty looms, a shadow hanging over the path ahead, leaving me in suspense about what fate has in store. But I refused to flee from this. It was a finality that echoed in the silence, a declaration that changed everything. The air hung heavy between us, a palpable tension that stretched into the silence, wrapping around us like a thick fog, each adrift in their own reverie, struggling to unravel the tangled web of events that had unfolded. The path ahead was shrouded in uncertainty. There are no simple solutions. The raw emotion surged like a tempest, each feeling crashing against the shores of the heart, leaving behind a tumultuous sea of passion and turmoil. Amidst the swirling chaos, uncertainty reigned supreme. The weight of it all was suffocating. Yet what Victoria had extended to us was a lifeline, a glimmer of hope in the shadows, a realm where we confront all challenges side by side, to face the chaos that had ensnared us. I cast my gaze back to Nathan, the weight of unspoken words hanging between us, and in that moment everything changed. No matter what unfolded in the moments to come, I could sense an undeniable shift in the air. We would confront it with unwavering honesty. A perfect solution eluded them, slipping through their fingers like sand in an hourglass. There was no straightforward solution to mend the chaos that surrounded them. Yet amidst the shadows a flicker of hope remained. A flicker of hope ignites, promising understanding and the possibility of healing in the shadows of despair. And perhaps for something far greater. As I leaned back, my mind surged with a whirlwind of possibilities, each one more tantalizing than the last. Victoria lingered in my thoughts, an undeniable presence that refused to fade. Her calmness and the offer of understanding had cracked open a door I never knew was there. She hadn't rejected us. She hadn't condemned us. Instead, she had gifted us space to breathe, to process the chaos that had unfolded. But what lay ahead? How would the story of us continue if we dared to confront the depth of our feelings? Could we forge a path forward? Or would the weight of our emotions crush us? Those questions loomed, but for now it was just Nathan and me, enveloped in the silence of our shared uncertainty. We both understood that nothing would ever be the same again. All we could do was take that next step, whatever it might be, and somehow together we would navigate this uncharted territory.